It's time to hit the jackpot because you're listening to How to Bet, hosted by Daryl Sean and Sean Miller, breaking down betting into 4 categories to help you stay ahead of the game, sharing their thoughts, opinions, and analysis on how to bet it, where to bet it, and who to bet on. Now here are your hosts, Daryl Sean and Sean Miller.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to How to Bet or How to Bet podcast. Go to howtobet.com. I'm Daryl Fine. He is Sean the Genius Miller, all the way in Manchester. That's right, halfway across the world. Not back in the States yet. He'll be back next week. So we appreciate him coming along with us all the way from Manchester. And Sean, we had another really good week. Not just a really good week again last week, the two of us. So 2 straight very, very good weeks in a row. So let's keep this thing going. Let me remind everybody watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, the like button, the notification bell. Then go down, ask for merch. Go to the comments, good, bad, leave comments, ask for merch. We'll send it out to you. And then go to that description box below. And that's where you're going to find the links to the previews at howtobet.com. Sean's previews, very important previews if you want to win some money, because it not only has the updated odds, but that updated injury report, weather reports, which was so important Monday night. Exclusive offers to various different sports books. So get there early and often. And Sean, that's where your previews came in handy on Monday night. How about that Monday night game? Weather was a factor, but bigger factor was that Belichick's just a genius.
Yeah, and I got my hood on here.
Yeah,
the hood
Belichick hood, yeah.
Belichick, Elliot Alderson, me, out there. I just, this guy is unbelievable. They just coming into the game. I like the Patriots before I saw the weather report and before I saw 50-mile-an-hour winds. The Patriots have a running game. The Bills don't, and last night it showed, and he's a genius. The game plan, they only threw 3 passes, and, now they're a game and a half up in the division, against the Bills, really, game and a half in the loss column now, because of the win. And, I don't know if any other coach would have done something like that. Obviously you saw the Bills guy did, and they try to throw the ball. It doesn't work, but the Bills aren't built like that. Now I think the Bills are in trouble because, they got to go on the road to Kansas City or to New England and some of these places, and they can't run the ball. And teams, I think, now know what they can do against. But I think Buffalo's got a tough game this week coming up. We'll talk about that later. But I think they alternate these games where they score points, they don't score points, and you can't do that in the playoffs because if you don't score points, you're not going to win games. Yeah, no, Allen's been a little bit inconsistent, and as you say, if you have no running game at all, no threat to run, it's going to make make things a little easier for defenses, especially defenses like New England. But we agree that no other coach would have played that game like Belichick played that game. He was just telling the Bills, look, we're running the ball. Stop us. And they couldn't. And one of the reporters after the game asked a couple of the Buffalo Bills, well, he phrased the question, probably shouldn't have phrased it the way he said, is it embarrassing, or are you embarrassed that it kind of, that you knew they were going to run and you still let up close to 300 yards rushing? These guys are pro players. The line, for New England was just pushing the Bills all over the place. I would be a little embarrassed. I don't know if it needs a reporter asking you right after you lost the game, but hey, it's the right question because, listen, they threw 3 passes. You couldn't stop them. They only gave up 14 points, but they were running up and down the field, eating the clock. They could never get off the field. And, it's a problem. I've been talking for weeks and weeks about, I just don't think the Bills. I think the Bills were a little bit of a fraudulent team. They had a real good run last year to the AFC Championship game, and now they're 7-5. Now they got to go to Tampa Bay. Now, it might be 7-6. Now all of a sudden, you got to 7-6. Now you look around the AFC. You might not be making the playoffs. You got to start worrying about if you're making the playoffs or not. Yeah, it's crazy. There's about, between the 2 conferences, there's about 6, 7 teams that are out of it. That's it. 6 or 7, and they're not even all mathematically out of it. There's 26 teams out of the 32 are, at there's only 6 teams that are 4-8 or worse, and the Seattle's still in it. Obviously the Giants are still in it. They're probably not going to make it.
Correct.
But, 26 teams are still in it, and it's 13 teams in the AFC. 12 of them are above at 500 or above, and then you also got the Dolphins, who are under, but playing, they're coming on like a freight train here, 5 in a row, and the Dolphins might be in better shape than some of these other teams with their schedules. So it's crazy. You can't, the Bills, all of a sudden they get to 7-6 next week. They might not make the playoffs, which is crazy. They were the favorite to win the AFC just 4 weeks ago.
One of the prop bets I played last week was the Dolphins. I believe it was on Sugar House. I went with the Dolphins to win both halves plus money, plus 235. So that was a good way to wager. So these prop bets, you really have to do your homework. There's a lot of them. So just go down and see the ones you like. I'll give you, for instance, too, on Monday night, I played a prop bet with Harris and Allen, 40-plus rushing yards. They both had to rush for 40. Harris did it on one run. That was comfortable. Guess what? Allen, 39 yards rushing.
Oh, man. That's
39.
brutal. And I know
that's brutal.
The other thing too, we talk about sending us messages on Twitter and Instagram. I mean, I know if you've been getting some from Elaine and some of these people, but last night is a perfect example. You see that weather. Jump on Twitter. Hey, what do you think about the under?
Absolutely.
It started at 43, then 42, then by game time it's down to 39 or 38. And listen, jump on it, like get it all the way down. You gotta get on that stuff. But that's why obviously we're talking about this game 4 or 5 days ahead of time. But yeah, jump on Twitter and find us, the Prodigal Sean, on Twitter and Instagram, and Daryl's Fine Line 33, and say, hey, listen, what do you think about this game? You like the like the Bills, you like the Pats, you like the under, you like the over, and we'll get back to you. So
yeah, tweet at us. Yeah. Tweet at us live. We'll respond. So another big week for both of us. And then of course we had college football, the Final Four announced. We will get into a little bit of it later on in the show, but it's something that's down the road a little bit now. But personally, I think that Cincinnati, I'm just going to go on the terms of Cincinnati. I think it's going to sound crazy. I think it's the best draw they could have gotten, because Alabama's defense is a flexible defense. I mean, you can move on that defense. The other two can really stiffen up. I know you say, well, Alabama ran all over, or threw and ran all over Georgia. Well, yeah, that's Alabama. That's their offense. But a team like Cincinnati can move the ball against that Alabama defense. Whether they'll be able to get enough stops, that's another story, and we'll talk about that in the future.
High scoring probably, but yeah, I'm excited for Cincinnati, and once again they have no pressure. I mean, you're in the game. Nobody expects them to win. The line is almost 2 touchdowns, and nobody expects them to win the game. But you go in with no pressure, and hey, listen, you go into halftime with a lead or something. Alabama tightens up. You just don't know. And even the other game, I think, is going to be fantastic.
Absolutely, and I have opinion on that. And I'm a little surprised. We'll get into it later. I'm a little surprised on the early lines, or the opening lines for those games.
Shocked. Yeah, I'm shocked about the Michigan Georgia. Once again, went on By the Book Bets last night to talk for How to Bet about this, and I just everybody on the show was really like, man, 7.5, like over a touchdown, 7.5, like it's a lot. That's a lot of points in that game, and Michigan's good.
And finally, I said it last week, I would say it every time. Give me Saban with points, and I'll take it. I don't have to analyze the game. Don't ask me about it. Don't ask me why. I didn't have to, the other media outlets that I'm on, that I have shows on, I said the same thing. I'm not going to analyze the game. I don't need to know. I'm just telling you I'm going to take the points and Saban. Anytime I have that opportunity, I'm going to do it. I did it. Plus the money line, that was ridiculous. I took, I was more confident with getting the points, and I did, and I would stand by that. You get the points with Saban, take it.
Yeah, I think, yeah. I mean, I fell into the trap about Georgia. I thought about it and I was like, man, the SEC, they got to get two teams in there and stuff.
So
Not
you
the
have a
Chiefs.
conspiracy theory? Is that what this is?
No, not. I thought about it after. I'm like, I would assume Alabama's probably going to win this game because, they want the two teams.
So it is a conspiracy theory.
It's a conspiracy kind of fact theory. I'll tell you one
put
thing.
Put that
though,
hood back on.
If you're looking for, by the way, I thought about this since I've been, because obviously since I've been over here in Manchester, it's won both their games in Manchester, tied at Chelsea, at like big odds. In the Premier League, I've only seen Manchester United lose one time since 2015. So if I'm going to a game over here,
take them.
You make sure you take Manchester United because they're trying to do a GoFundMe here to get me to stay over here forever. I got one more game here Wednesday night and Thursday down in London and then back home. So.
Right,
and then it's supposed to be 65 degrees on Saturday and Sunday. I can't even wait. It's cold and rain every day here.
Wow. Yeah, I'll take that. But that's why everybody said, that's why I have this voice going on because of the heat and the cold. And that must be our signal for me to tell you, hey, remember, bet with your head, not with your heart. Don't go over your means. Some people bet for entertainment. Some people bet to make money, and you could do both. But don't bet over your means. If you think you have a gambling problem or you have a gambling problem, there's help out there, including 1-800-GAMBLER. When we come back, our Parlay Power Plays of the Week coming at you right here on How to Bet. Go to HowToBet.com.
Welcome back to How to Bet, hosted by Daryl Fine and Sean Miller, giving their thoughts, opinions, and analysis on how to bet, where to bet, and who to bet on.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the How to Bet podcast. Go to HowToBet.com. I'm Daryl Fine. He's the genius, Sean Miller, and he is in Manchester. That's right, he's in England, and he'll be back next week. But another good week of football picks for us, another good week, 2 in a row, as a matter of fact. So we're going to keep this thing rolling, and it's time for our Parlay Power Play of the Week. And first, let me remind you, first, we do appreciate you listening and watching us on YouTube. We know that there's a trillion different choices to make, so we do appreciate you following us here on How to Bet. And you YouTubers, you watching us on YouTube, go to that subscribe button. Click it. That's right, click it. And then the like button, the notification bell. Go a little further down. Leave comments, good or bad. Bad always helps us too. And then you can ask for merch, and we'll send you out merch. Get some swag, man. And then down a little further, the description box. That's important for making money because you go to howtobet.com, go to the description box in YouTube. It'll send you there, and there you'll find Sean the Genius Miller's previews. Not only his previews, updated odds, they're changing. Injury reports, they're changing. You have COVID mixed in, a whole bunch going on, and exclusive offers to various different sports books. We spoke about last Monday night. What a great time to go to howtobet.com and get to those previews, those links, because we knew what the weather was about. We knew that the under was the play. So that was a key moment, and Sean did a great job with it last week.
Thank you. Yeah. I just jumping on that show, and I'm like, man, you see the wins. I saw some pictures on Twitter because the game's over here, like, I watched the Georgia-Alabama game. It was pretty late, but the Monday Night Football game's I think 1:30 in the morning here.
Yeah.
So, a lot of places have it, though, now. It's because it's getting bigger in England. So, a lot of the casinos, you go there, and they'll have the big screen NFL games on, late at night to people are all packed in there watching it and stuff.
Yeah.
So, it's pretty cool. Yeah. So, I know last night, as soon as I saw those wins, I said, oh, man.
Yeah, wind, you could play through rain, you could play through snow, hail. Any wind will ruin a game. Wind is the biggest factor as far as weather goes. when it comes to games. All right, time for our Parlay Power Play of the week, week 14 already. So, Sean, let's have it. Your Parlay Power Play of the week.
All right, so I'm going to qualify this with some. I picked Baltimore as a pick over Cleveland. I know Baltimore lost another player. Their big cornerback is out for the year. And they're just kind of dropping like.
Hey, wait,
fly.
Let me stop you there. I'm sorry. Let me stop. I know I have to ask you this question. Okay. But last week, I thought it was foolish. I'm not second guessing. Harbaugh, you need to kick the extra point and go into overtime. I mean, extra point. Nothing's a gimme, but certainly 2-point conversions are not gimmies.
Oh yeah, I think take your chances there.
So you're good with it?
I don't know. What's that?
So you're good with going with 2? Going for 2?
No, I mean, I think you're the better team. You kick the extra point, you
go
to overtime.
I agree.
You're the better team. I mean, if it's the other way around, I think if it was the Steelers, I wouldn't have a problem because they need something to keep going. But you're supposed to be the better team there. I mean, just kick the extra point, get to overtime, and rely on Lamar Jackson. But
I was happy. I had Pittsburgh +4, but all right. So sorry, I just want to get your opinion.
They're starting to. We saw this game. Cleveland just played Baltimore because they had to bye, and it was an ugly game. And Baltimore's defense. I mean, Baltimore's defense is good, but they're just dropping like flies. So I'm going to take Baltimore in this game as a pick because I think Lamar Jackson is better, and he's not going to have the same kind of game that he had 2 weeks ago against them. But it's a tough game now, and if they have a couple more players out, I would probably say back off the game. But so just to qualify it, but I'll take Baltimore with that.
And I'll tell you this, I think Cleveland stinks. So I don't. There's something definitely wrong there. I'm not a big fan of Baltimore. I don't think the quarterback. I know. Listen, great athlete. He can run. He can throw. He could throw. Arm strength, all that stuff, really good arm strength, but he's not accurate. He's not an accurate passer. So, but in this one, no matter what here, you're taking Baltimore pick. I'll agree with you there, but this is your parlay power play. But yeah, all right. So Baltimore at pick'em at Cleveland. Go ahead.
Yeah, definitely. And if I would probably, if I would put a team in for that, like if there's some injuries, I would say take Kansas City to put in for that, but that's down the road. Second game is, and I can't believe I'm doing this after I just killed them in the Chargers against the Giants.
Chargers. They're at home -10.
They're like the most frustrating team.
Tell me about it.
I don't have to tell you last week, but they're just, it's crazy. But the Giants. Why? I don't understand. Why did they draft Saquon Barkley if they're not going to run him? Like they just run him like 10 times. What's the point? It's crazy, but you just watch the Chargers just maul the Bengals, and obviously it's tough. You want to try. You're like they're sucking you back in.
Hey, they've beat me 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, I think the Giants quit. I think it's not quit, but they're not any good. And that coach stinks, and they're done. So that would be my second game. My third game. And once again, I looked at this and the line's going like crazy. And I'm going to take Green Bay.
So Green Bay is at home against Chicago -12.
Ariel Epstein went on this show last night. She's a big prop player. And she on her Twitter, she talked about the Rodgers out of a bye. He's not very good. Pretty bad, actually. Maybe the first week bad. So that gave me a little bit of pause. But Chicago quit. The coach is terrible. They don't even have their headsets working. He doesn't even know whose job it is to have the headsets going. So that's such a disaster. They're in trouble. And I just think that Green Bay 31-3, something like that. They just pummel them here. So I'm going to go with Green Bay.
So Green Bay. So Baltimore pick them at Cleveland. The Chargers at home -10 against the Giants, and Green Bay at home -12 against the Bears. That's Sean's parlay power play of the week. And here is mine. I will take a Tennessee team coming off a bye, getting a little bit healthier. They get Julio Jones back. They're getting, that bye week came at a good time for them as far as some of the defensive players as well. I'm going to take Tennessee minus the 10.5 at home against Jacksonville. Jacksonville's terrible. By the way, Trevor Lawrence, I still think he will be a good quarterback. I know they've given him nothing to work with. Hopefully they'll build around that for him.
Etienne's injury killed him too, I think, early. Because if Travis Etienne doesn't get hurt, in preseason, I think he probably has a decent year. And as soon as he gets, they're playing it around him, and then he gets hurt, so that kind of tanks.
Yeah, you're right. So I mean, and defensively they're okay at times, but they're inconsistent. I'm going to go Tennessee minus the 10.5 at home. I'm going to go, this is me just not learning my lesson. They have screwed me 2 weeks. Don't worry. Trey's getting nervous because I curse when the Chargers involved, and then he has to edit it for our radio end. The Chargers minus 10 at home against the Giants. I'm going to go with them again. They beat me on a 6-team, Cincinnati, I guess you could say, beat me last week on a 6. No, I stand corrected. I had the over in that game. So I had a 6-team parlay, believe it or not. I had the over. The team that beat me in that one was San Francisco, so it wasn't the Chargers. Yep. I had the over in the Chargers-Bengals game. And then I'm going to go with what is the big game of the week next week. I think one of these teams is just better than the other, and they're at home. So I'm going to take Arizona minus the 2.5 at home against the Rams. I am not impressed with the Rams at all. I know they won the game. They beat a bad team. So I'm going with the Rams. Not impressed. Or rather, Arizona, because I'm not impressed with the Rams. So here it is. Tennessee minus 10.5 at home against Jacksonville. Chargers minus 10 at home against the Giants. And then Arizona minus 2.5 at home against the Rams. That is my parlay power play of the week. Sean? Any comments on mine? You have any comments on mine?
No, I like I think there was a lot of, it was tough. There's like 5 or 6 games between teams that are like 5 and 7 and 8 and 6 this week. The Falcons and Panthers, and there's a lot of those tough games. So I try to stay away from those. I like the Cardinals. I like the Chiefs a lot in that game. That they probably would have been their defense is playing phenomenal right now. Yeah. So, I would probably I like Tennessee as well. If you want to put like a 5 or 6 team parlay together with all those picks and maybe win a ton of money, maybe kind of put them together there. Maybe take Baltimore out and put Kansas City in or something like that. But
Chiefs on a roll. Not the Chiefs we know, not the same Chiefs we know and love, but they are on a roll.
I'll tell you what, defense. And at some point, their offense is going to click. Remember they're playing the Raiders, and they just beat the Raiders 41-14, and 3 of the last 4 weeks, they've held teams to like 7 points, 9 points, 9 points. So their defense is playing out of its world right now.
Yeah,
so
they've been terrific. Yeah. So that is our parlay power plays of the week. When we come back, prime time bets of week 14.
And we're back with How to Bet, hosted by Daryl Fine and Sean Miller.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to How to Bet, the How to Bet podcast. Go to HowToBet.com. I'm Daryl Fine. He's Sean the Genius Miller, and he's in Manchester, England. Australia. Crumpets. Taking crumpets. I did it better that my my voice is bad this week. That's why I have that heat cold going on.
What was that, man?
I don't know. Hello. How about that? Hello. All right. So did I redeem myself with my hello? Anyway, this is time for our primetime bets of week 14. I apologize to every Brit in the world on that one. Yes, that was awful. I'm way better than that. So anyway, listen here. You watching us on YouTube, go to that subscribe button. Hit it. And then go to the notification bell, the like button. Do it all for us. We appreciate it. Then go down and leave comments, good or bad. And then, of course, ask for merchandise. We have swag for you. And then the description box. Go to that description box. This is where you're going to find the links to Sean the Genius Miller's previews on HowToBet.com. The previews, the odds, injury updates, weather, exclusive offers, everything you need to win money will be there. So get there early and often. And Sean, it is time for our Thursday night game. This has to be one of the most disappointing teams in football. They have the weapons. Now they might be short a big weapon, but they have the weapons. Their coaching staff is so unimaginative. They're vanilla, and that is one of the problems on both sides of the ball, offense and defense. I'm talking about those Minnesota Vikings as they entertain the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Vikings -4.5 in this one. Sean, you go first on this Thursday night game. By the way, if you remember, I did like Pittsburgh last week, and I said that they might win outright. Don't be surprised, and they did. How about that?
Not bad, not bad.
Thanks.
This is tough. I mean, wrote some of the stuff for the Thursday night story here. This is basically an early playoff matchup, especially for the Vikings.
Now, Thielen is going to be out.
I think. Steelers obviously 6-5-1, a little bit better shape, but the loser here is in trouble. The Steelers have a really tough schedule down the stretch, so the Steelers really need to win this game, and obviously the Vikings have to win if they want to get into the playoffs. So, it's starting to get healthy now. The Vikings are at least. You're coming off this game. Both these teams, by the way, they're the only two teams in the NFL to have not beaten the Lions when they played this year.
That?
Steelers.
How about that? That's a good note.
Yeah. They're both. They both struggled against. Dalvin Cook could be out. Wide receiver Adam Thielen picked up a high ankle sprain. So obviously Pittsburgh been dealing with injuries all season. I think for this game, I have no idea why I'm taking the Vikings. I don't know why. There's no rhyme or reason behind it. I just think they show up at home in the game they have to win. I don't think the Steelers are that good. I think they're banged up. And I mean, if you tell me you're taking the Steelers and make a case for the Steelers, I would say okay. But that's just my thoughts about it. I don't know why. I'm just going to take the Vikings.
So here's my case for the Steelers. My case is the Vikings shouldn't be a 4.5-point favorite. That's number one. So I will take the Steelers. They don't have to win the game. They just have to play it close. But I do think they have a great chance of winning the game. I really respect Mike Tomlin as a coach. I think he's a terrific coach. For whatever reason, he went away from getting touches for Najee Harris, and he went back to it last week, and that's what helped them win the game. I have to believe he will continue now, once again, to give Harris touches. That helps them offensively. Defensively, this team has a good defense. They always do. It's not great anymore, but it is good enough. Minnesota, they can move the ball generally, but they don't seem to be able to hold the other team, and I think that's the case here. I don't see a ton of points being scored in this one, but I do like Pittsburgh plus the 4.5, and I know let's talk some prop bets in this game, Sean.
Yeah, I think, when you look at these two teams, both of the teams have played a lot of close games, Pittsburgh and Minnesota. They've won some close games. They've lost some close games. So I think, one thing you can do, and it's going to sound a little weird, but, you can win some money doing it. If you take the Vikings to win by 1 to 6 points at plus 305 and Pittsburgh to win by 1 to 6 points at plus 440, and it lands between that number, like the Vikings win by 5 or Pittsburgh wins by 5, you're going to win a lot of money.
Win a lot of money.
You're going to win them if you get them if Pittsburgh wins, it's at plus 440. If Vikings win, it's at plus 305. So even if you bet 100 on the Vikings, you win. Get 405 back minus the 100 you bet on the Pittsburgh, so you're up 305. If you do it the other way, you're up. Obviously a couple $400. So. There's a chance there because these teams play such close games all the time to maybe it's not really a middle, But, sometimes I'll put that out and people are like, well, how can you bet both teams? Well, if you think it's going to be close, put it on both sides. And if it's a close game either way, you're going to win either way.
Yeah,
and you're up money because it's
yeah,
plus 4.
Yeah, I'm sorry. And there's also, that would be obviously it's very difficult to do that. But yes, if it does come in, you're winning a lot of money.
Yeah, you sometimes a game like this where you think it's going to be close and both offenses aren't great and it's going to be low scoring game and they play a lot of close games. I mean, obviously you can't do this for every game, because some games will win, some teams will win by 7 points or more because the spreads are 1-6, 7-12, and 13 or more. So if you think it's going to be a blowout, obviously you get better money, you get better odds, but. In a game like this where both teams play these close games and you don't really know which way to go and you think it's going to be close, maybe take a shot with it. I think, one of the other things I like here is, obviously I like the Vikings here, so I'm going to take them. These apps have the race to 20 points now. So first team to get to 20 wins the bet. So, they're minus 125 there. So I think there's a couple of the, obviously the more of the player props come out closer to the game, so you'll see that Wednesday night.
Yep. Now let's move to the Sunday night game, and remember, you watching us on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. HowToBet.com. You go there. You're watching us on YouTube, so hit that subscribe button, the like button, the notification bell. Go to the description box. Open up those links for the previews to this game, previews, odds, injury updates, exclusive offers. So get there early and often. And the Sunday night game is the Green Bay Packers at home, -10 against Chicago. We already know that, or rather -12 against Chicago. We already know that Sean likes Green Bay because it's part of his parlay power plays of the week. Listen, you can't go against Green Bay and take Chicago in this one. So Montgomery did look good for the Bears last Sunday. You can't take, and then I know about Rodgers and coming off a bye, he's not great. The defense is good. I just don't see any scenario where I'm not taking Green Bay. And it could be a closer game than that, Sean, but I can't put my money on the Bears.
Why is this game the Sunday night game? Why didn't they flex? You know what I'm saying? Like, why?
The only reason I could think is because you have Green Bay and you have a gigantic market in Chicago, and that's why they kept it. I mean,
well, I know they wouldn't. CBS's only game, I think, is the big one, the Bills and the
Tampa, yeah.
Bucks. So they weren't going to give that up. So,
right, exactly.
I thought maybe Cincinnati, one of those games they would have flexed in there, but whatever.
Yeah, the Bears are it's still Chicago. It's still a rivalry, so you're gonna have that, and it's Aaron Rodgers, and people now he's become so. Polarized, such a polarized figure now that people want to see him succeed or fail, but they're rooting for him one way or another in a big way, in a hard way. So there's that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I just think this game, it's Green Bay has won 5 straight and 10 of 11 dating back to 2015, and they already beat them 24-14 in Chicago on October 17th.
That's when Rodgers got in the end zone and said, "I own you," right? Isn't that the game that he said, I blank and own you? Yeah, and he does blank and he does blank and own them.
He does.
Yeah. So
it's crazy the numbers here, and when you start looking at some of these, basically what I said is, you're getting these points and you have to think about it and you're like, well, why am I, looking to give horse an amount here? The Bears have the leaned out coaching staff. They don't even know what headgear, they can't have, their communications aren't working, all this stuff. I mean, as long as it stays under 2 touchdowns, I mean, I think you got to take the Packers here. And if you, there's a couple other prop bets to look at here, obviously, if you think they're going to win by 13 plus points, and you can just bet them at minus 115 or whatever instead of if the line goes to 15 or 16, whatever, you get them at 13 or more. Obviously, Green Bay over 28.5 points. If you think they're going to score some points here, which I think they will, you could probably get that around minus 115, minus 118, and I actually think Green Bay is going to score 30 plus points. I think maybe this has all the markings 31-10, 31-7,
Interesting.
30-14, something like that. So you can take Green Bay, over.
Take them to the bank. So you're saying take them to the bank. Yeah.
Yeah, I just think sometimes you get these games where, you can jump on a team and maybe win money in multiple ways with them. And this could be the game. Obviously, if the Bears show up, you're dumb. But, sometimes you just overthink stuff. You're going to say, the Packers are going to win here.
Yeah, I say don't overthink it. You're right. Now, Monday Night Football, remember, you're watching us on HowToBet, HowToBet.com podcast. We appreciate you viewing here on YouTube. We appreciate everybody else listening on all the other outlets. Remember to hit that subscribe button, the like button, the notification bell. Go down, leave comments, good or bad, or if you want swag, ask for it. We'll get you merchandise. And then, of course, a little lower, the description box where you will find Sean, the Genius Miller's links to the games, the previews of the games, odds, injury reports, exclusive offers. We have it all there at HowToBet.com. It is now time for our Monday night best bet of the week, and this is the prime time. This is the game of the week. Some might say Buffalo. I don't think anybody's going to say Buffalo, Tampa. I was just trying to be dramatic. This is the game of the week. Arizona and Los Angeles Rams at Arizona. It's a -2.5 in favor of the Cardinals. You already know that I love the Cardinals, and I do love the Cardinals here because they are part of my parlay power play of the week. So, Sean, I've made my case for Arizona. They have Murray healthy. He looked great as far as running. His legs look great. Hopkins back. Hopkins didn't even have to play the whole game last week. He few catches, had the touchdown catch. He looked good. He'll be fine. This team is really playing well on both sides of the ball, but let's see what they do in a big game, a December big game. They haven't proven they can win those. I think they can. I am not overly impressed with the Rams, so I took Arizona as part of my parlay power play of the week. Who do you like in this game?
Well, I mean, I'll make a case for both teams. Obviously the Rams before this season won 8 in a row in this 4 straight season sweeps until this season. And then the Cardinals blew out the Rams 37-20 earlier. So they stopped that winning streak already. This is a chance here for the Rams to get back into the division title race. Arizona 10-2, Rams 8-4. Arizona already owns the tiebreaker, so basically it's a 2.5 game lead. If Rams lose this game, it's done. They're done. They're 8-5. They're going into the wild card, maybe, unless they fall apart. I think they're going to get in the playoffs at some point. Yeah. Arizona's going to win the division, and I think the big thing is when you look around here at the playoff picture in the NFC, it's the Cardinals 10-2, right? Tampa Bay. You got obviously Los Angeles here, and then who's the other team? Green Bay. Oh, warm weather, except for cold. And Arizona lost to Green Bay, so Green Bay owns the tiebreaker there. I think for Arizona, this is a massive game. They have to stay ahead of Green Bay because they don't want to go on the cold.
I agree.
Obviously,
you don't want to go in the Lambeau. Yep.
You don't want to go. So you can go to. Tampa, I don't think is a problem. Los Angeles, I don't think is a problem. Atlanta or Arizona, I don't think is a problem. Obviously, Dallas is going to be out of it at this point. So, but that's warm weather as well. So,
go ahead.
I think it's a massive game for Arizona. I love Arizona in this game. I think they cover. They could be getting Chase Edmonds back at running back. He could come off the injured reserve. They're getting healthier. Obviously, DeAndre Hopkins is back, scored a touchdown. I think the Cardinals are going to be able to put up some points. Obviously, they scored 33 points the other day. So, when you look at the props, I like the Cardinals race to 20 points.
I love the Cardinals race to 20 points. I think there's going to be points scored in this game, mostly by the Cardinals. But, I do like the Cardinals race.
Here's the other thing. You can get the Cardinals race to 30, and they scored 30. They scored 30 last week at plus 170. So, and they scored. Remember, 37-20 the first game. I mean, the Rams' defense isn't what it is. So,
I am not afraid to go there. I am not afraid to go to the race to 30.
Yeah, plus 170 is some big money. So,
Yeah.
I think, you got to look at that. Obviously, if you like Arizona, you think they're going to score some points.
I do. I think they're going to score some points. So I do. I am not afraid to go to the race to 30. I'm going to take that as well. The Rams, do they get Henderson back? Sony Michel looked pretty good, but Henderson has been their guy. We do know that still no Robert Woods. Jefferson has looked good. They have Beckham in the mix now, but it's not. It's more so for me. Their defense that we thought was going to be outrageously good is not. Very inconsistent.
Yeah.
So that's it. That's what I have for me. That's why I'm not a big fan.
They looked good last week, obviously against Jacksonville, which was big out of the bye, but I just don't trust them. And I mean, they're kind of like the Bills for me a little bit. If they win this game, now all of a sudden they're back in this picture for in the NFC, because that would be big. They would only be a game back in the NFC, so in the NFC West. So that would be interesting.
Yeah, and it's going to be it should be a very exciting Monday night game. Hey, when we come back, we're going to give you our over-unders, and for the NFL, we'll talk a little college football as well. When we come back, you're watching us on YouTube. You already know that, HowToBet.com. We thank you for listening on all the other outlets. Remember, bet with your head, not with your heart. We know there's a lot of choices. If you think there's a lot of ways that you can make money here, a lot of choices to bet on. But if you feel like you have a gambling problem, don't go there. Call 1-800-GAMBLER. There is help out there for you. So remember, bet with your head, not with your heart. 1-800-GAMBLER if you think you have a problem. We'll be back with those over-unders, college football as well, right here on HowToBet, HowToBet.com.
Let's go.
Let's take it back to How to Bet, hosted by gambling masterminds Daryl Fine and Sean Miller.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to How to Bet, our How to Bet podcast. Go to HowToBet.com. I'm Daryl Fine. He's Sean, the Genius Miller, and he's in Manchester, England. Should I try it again? Hello, tea and crumpets. Yeah, that was, again, I apologize.
Was that Scottish?
Hello. I don't know what it is. It was my best attempt, all right? I mean, it probably wasn't even my best attempt. I've done it very well in the past. I just don't have it today. All right, so.
In it. You got to say, in it.
In it. Yeah, I can't, because I got this cold going on. All right, hey, so anyway, that's where he is. And he's wrapping up his soccer tour. He'll be back in studio with us next week. So Sean, just before we get into the college football and then our over-unders, I want to remind everybody on YouTube watching to please hit that subscribe button, that one right there, the red. Hit that subscribe button, the notification bell, the like us, then go leave comments. Whether they're good, they're bad, or if you want merch, ask for merch. We will get you out merchandise. We have the swag. And then go down a little further, the description box. This is where you will find Sean the Genius Miller's previews. Hit those links. Previews will come up. You read them. You read them because they have great information, as well as injury reports, odds updates, and then of course, there's also exclusive offers for you in various different sports books, so check that out as well. And Sean, the college football, the Final Four, what a week it was. Very exciting. Oklahoma State, they bowed out. The Baylor took care of them. And then Notre Dame, they thought they had a chance. They're thinking, oh, here we go. Go Georgia. Georgia was the favorite in this one, and nope, Alabama took care of business. So Alabama, not only are they in, they're back to that number one seed. They will play Cincinnati while Georgia plays Michigan. The opening lines in this one, I don't know if they surprised you at all. Alabama 13.5. Some people think that should be higher. And Georgia 7.5. A lot of people think that should be lower. So what's your take on the football finals?
Yeah, I'm a little bit shocked. The line for the Michigan-Georgia game opened above 7. Obviously, I would think everyone will be betting Michigan at 7.5, and it'll probably settle down to 7 or 6.5 at some point. But I don't get it. Michigan's good, and they just dominated everybody in the last few weeks, and Georgia just got exposed. I mean, I know Georgia's been rolling before that, but these two teams are pretty equal. I think, I like Michigan. In this game a little bit, like to come out here coming in off the game. Obviously, that's not going to be my, off the, like my, what do you call it? My first.
You're the
glance.
genius. Figure it out.
Yeah, my first glance, I would, 7.5 points, I think is a lot to lay. But I think the other thing is, a lot of people are going to start overreacting to the Georgia loss when, Georgia was just rolling through everybody across the season, and Georgia's still good. So, I think, you see on ESPN today, they're talking about, the quarterback for Georgia, and is there a quarterback problem? Well,
I think there is actually.
Yeah, it's interesting, but here's the thing, you have so long to think about it before this game. You have like 3 weeks or 4 weeks before they play. I mean, they play on the 30th or the 31st. Is it
31st? Yeah.
31st. So, you got a lot of time. So, like, do you overthink it? You make a change.
Well, there'll be adjustments to the odds too. I mean, I'm not one unless I see a number that just blows me away. I don't go that early. I wait. And look at things.
I think a lot. So I know some people are trying. Hey, I want to bet the game now, but you gotta. You gotta wait. What happens if somebody is in?
Exactly.
There's a lot of time. Like
exactly.
The line's not gonna move. It's not gonna go to like.
No, it won't be crazy. And then with the COVID thing, you never know now with COVID. So you want to wait that out.
Yeah. I think you're almost. It's a little crazy to look at it, and in the other game, obviously, Alabama 13.5. You talked about it earlier. Cincinnati can score some points.
They'll be able to. I think they'll be able to move the ball on Alabama. I just don't know if they'll be able to stop Alabama. And we're going to get in these games as the weeks go on. So we're not going to tip our hand yet in this.
Do you think there's an overreaction to the Georgia to Alabama beating Georgia, because for the 5 weeks before that, Alabama looked terrible. So, like, they just straight by. I mean, is that another, obviously betting in lines is overreaction because, you have the people betting. So, I mean, do you think that's like, these lines are a little bit of an overreaction to all the stuff that just happened?
Probably a little bit. There's probably a little bit to be said for that. Yes, probably a little bit of that goes into it. I would think, yeah. But I think again, we'll analyze this as we go further. Before we get into our NFL over-unders for the week, I just want to mention the game, Saturday, East Rutherford, MetLife Stadium. It is the game. Army, Navy. Folks, I know it doesn't mean anything in national, the championship, no big bowl here, but it is the game. Believe me, if you've never been to an Army-Navy game, put it on your bucket list. It is the greatest place to be when that game is being played. There's no other atmosphere I'd rather be in. It is just a great, great day. So, again, if you can get out there, get out there. Army better this year than Navy, so we'll see. But, look, again, put it on your bucket list. Get out there, and I'm sure you can get there this year. Do it. Anyway, that is my rant about the Army-Navy game. I love it. What a great place to be. Our NFL over-unders for Week 14. We've been very successful with these, Sean. So you go first with your over-unders. Generally overs, but I know that you snuck an under in this week.
Yeah, listen, obviously, I like the overs, but I am going to throw an under in there today. So, I must like that one. But first game is Tampa and Buffalo. Obviously, I think, Buffalo has this tendency to score, not score and then score, not score and score. Obviously, you watched the game last night. They didn't score, or Monday night, they didn't score. So I think they're going to score some. I just think Tampa Bay is going to score more. I think this game is in the 30s, 38-31, something like that. So, I think Tampa, this game definitely goes over.
So over 53.
Early. I think you maybe look at over in the first half too. I think this could go over early. Second game is out west on Monday night. I like Arizona and the Rams to go over. This game was 37-20 the first time. I already talked about the prop bets and how I think, Arizona is going to score over 30. Well, if Arizona's going to score 31 points, the Rams have to score basically, 21, 24 points, and it's, it's an over there. So I'm going to try to lean to the over there.
So that one is Rams, Arizona over 52, and then you're under that you're sneaking in on us this week.
Yeah, I mean, we just saw this 2 weeks ago. We saw, the Browns' last game, really. Browns and the Ravens under. It was an ugly, ugly, ugly game the first time they played. Both these teams are really, really struggling on offense, and I just think, I don't think they can score enough points here. I'm really down on the Browns. Obviously, they're not very good. So, even if the Ravens score, 24 points, I just don't see the Browns getting into the 20s. So I'm going to take that under. So
under 45. Really like under 45. So Sean's over-unders for the NFL Week 14. Tampa and Buffalo over 53. Rams, Arizona over 52. And Baltimore, Cleveland under 45. My over-unders for the week, I will go to the Jacksonville, Tennessee game. I'm going under 44.5. I'll play it the same way I played Jacksonville last week. I went under it with the Rams. I knew the Rams would do most of the scoring and Jacksonville would struggle. I think the same will apply here, so I'm going to go under 44.5 Tennessee-Jacksonville. I will go under in the Jets-New Orleans game. I don't think either team is going to score too many points in this one. They both struggle offensively. I will go under 44. New Orleans and Jets. And then finally, I'm going to agree with you with the Rams-Arizona. I'll go over the total. I think there'll be a lot of points scored in that one. So it's Jacksonville, Tennessee under 44.5, New Orleans Jets under 44, and Rams, Arizona over 52 for me in our over-unders for Week 14. So, Sean, another good week ahead. I'm confident once again, we have had 2 really good weeks in a row. You'll be back here next week, finally back into the States. Hopefully it's a good trip back. No issues getting back in. I know there's some border stuff going on with the COVID. So hopefully you get in easy. Hopefully it's easy.
My test,
easy peasy.
Yeah, I got my test all ready to go. Hopefully they take it. I'm glad I'm not trying. My buddy Randy Miller's traveling. He's leaving America to go to Paris, England, and Rome. I know Randy. I haven't seen Randy in a long time, so tell him I said Yeah. So he's coming over here. He wants me to go to Paris, but I just kind of try to get out of the country and get back to America and not be sick and stuff, and get back over here in February or March.
Yeah. All right. Sounds good. Hey, again, we'll see you next week in studio. Our thanks to our producer, Trey Wright, and his Washington football team surging. Thanks to Trey Wright, our executive director, Tiffany Hartman. For Sean the Genius Miller, I'm Daryl Fine. We'll see you next week. How to Bet, go to howtobet.com.
See ya.
Thank you for listening to How to Bet, hosted by Daryl Fine and Sean Miller. For more information about betting guides, online gambling, betting odds, including NFL betting lines and odds, go to howtobet.com. Watch all How to Bet podcasts on YouTube. And to access all How to Bet podcasts, go to 1077thebronx.com/howtobet.